Welcome back to the Rich Fritzky Show, my friends, and thanks for being with. Thanks for listening. With 3 weeks left to go before Saving Our Democracy comes into play, it's tough for me to lay down my gloves, but I am, as promised, doing so this week. And I go to the out-of-the-box, or somewhat extraordinary, as I'm actually going to reprise what was once said to my beautiful daughter Emily on the day of her wedding, a little more than 5 years ago. I do so with the love of my life, Maggie, in mind. You see, in having corralled the half dozen or so grandchildren who were most likely to disturb my speaking 5 years ago on that beautiful August day, my Maggie heard not a word. We neither taped nor properly saved what I'm about to reprise. It wasn't well saved by yours truly, a man of thousands of documents past. So it took a concerted effort, but finally, just this past week, I found it. Well and obliquely misfiled, of course. So this is very belatedly going out to my Maggie. And for all out there who love their children, and children who love their parents, and you, I trust and pray. I take you back to August 22nd, 2016, and our Emily, daughter number 6 of 7. Storms and showers had been predicted, but the sun took over and shone brightly that day. Picturing Emily and her Sean as they were, I see the lectern that I rolled up to, the mic, the packed room, and well, here it goes, once again, for this is what I told my Emily on that one fine day. It strikes me that most parents approach weddings with some measure of trepidation as to whether or not their own child has actually found their soulmate. We are blessed to have no doubt. Why, I don't think Maggie or I have ever had a doubt about Sean. So what we witnessed here today was perfect. Sean actually came into my life during one of the darkest of moments, just out of a coma, completely atrophied, and so very sick in a kind of ethereal fog. There he was, this new guy, by my Emily at Morristown Hospital, taking a place among the caregiving children, pulling me up, getting the ice chips, turning my broken body over. Quiet and uncertain, but committed. And nothing could have spoken louder to me at the time about just how much he must have cared for my girl, because he was helping to care for me. Oh, so much in life is said in silence. There's another test that he passed in spades over time, one that future brother-in-laws struggled to achieve, at least not to this degree, for Sean not only won the heart of Emily, but also of each of her 5 brothers. If not the best, he is among the best of friends with all. He also makes great choices, for no gift tops a Christmas Eve call and a Merry Christmas from Mickey Mouse, who is so delighted to hear that you will be visiting him soon. Oh, what a perfect gift for my Emily, whose favorite character in all of literature is Winnie the Pooh, and who will, I promise you, start playing the Christmas movies before Labor Day. Above all, Sean takes the hits from Emily, and he never retreats. He takes Emily's, "I'm going to kill you, Sean's," and the "Are you crazy, Sean's," and the "What were you thinking, Sean's," and the "Are you kidding me, Sean's," and the "Take it down right now, Sean's," and yes, of course, the "Are you out of your mind, Sean's," without ever going out of his. Not once. He's the real deal, the proven commodity, with a spirit, a kindness, a temper of the will, a heart and a grace big enough for Emily. Emily, today's Emily, my Emily, is truly as good as it gets. I'm her dad and I'm biased, but you can take this to the bank. She is one rare and blessed piece of work for this earth. And if ever there were a heart as big as a galaxy, it would be hers. Just like her mother, she bleeds out for people. Beautiful in every way, unfailingly kind and generous. She is a rainmaker of grace and goodness. And what she and Sean promised each other today is fixed. A tree with already deep roots. They will be hope and light for one another. But I blinked my eyes, and there she is still with that adorable scrunchy face, cradled in my arms as Maggie sings, "May you grow in your own sweet way and blossom more every day." Or there she is playing short hop, whatever that is, in Little League in 3rd grade, when only 8 or 9 and so impossibly cute. Or on stage at the school arts festival, singing her first solo, a tale as old as time, a heralding, if you will, of this very day. Ever just the same, ever a surprise, ever as before, as the sun will rise. Tale as old as time, tune as old as song. And so today, Sean and Emily give life to a timeless, universal, never gets old sort of commitment. Ever a reminder of what we hope to be. Ever a hope that we might do justice to our own promises even yet. Ever a clarion call to all of us to love even more, to love harder still. I go back some 9 years ago, and there I am again at Morristown. It was a Saturday night, and I was in my Jefferson 5 room. It had begun to snow as Emily and Laura strolled in. Only 17 she was, with a new license. She had driven 40 minutes on 2 interstates. You must understand that I had been gravely conditioned by 4 of her older sisters to have little or no faith in 17-year-old female drivers. I'll talk about that one day. Of course, to have them with me warmed and colored the night, but I was overwhelmed with worry. Sick as I was, the fatherly protective instinct still kicked in. Emily, my little girl, was going to have to drive home in this, and I wanted her on her way before it got worse. I wanted them safe and settled and warm, and neither of them were buying into what I believe was my suggestion that they spend the night with me on the other bed in my room. As they smiled brightly without a care and rooted for me, I think all I did in return was urge them to go before it got worse. And after all but chasing them out, I stared out that window into the darkness, rooting for them, and praying until I got the word that they were indeed home, safe and sound. Misguided or not, oh, how fierce and relentless that instinct to protect can be. The memory is so stark because a part of Maggie and I, and of Hector and Kathy, will forever live in that very place, caring, wondering, worrying about them, as there is for a parent no final run into the end zone where the ball is spiked and the deed is done, even at a wedding where the signposts boldly proclaim, we are on our own now. For while the head may go where that sign suggests, the heart will never follow, as it lives and is forever bound to that profound, inexplicable moment when you, Emily, and you, Sean, first cried your way out of the womb into this world and into our arms. Sure, the roles for Emily and I have turned on their heads some, upside down even, for Emily long ago put on the protector's cloak herself. Hers is a fierce, loving presence, and she longs to cover my flanks, while I but hope and dream of doing justice to covering hers. Like Maggie, Emily raises me up, extends life, and helps to render the intolerable tolerable. At a minimum, Emily is almost or as very nearly perfect as a human being can be. And she is Sean's now, and he hers, and they are worthy of, and ready for, and determined to sanctify their marriage by loving selflessly and magnificently. Ah, but oh, to dance with Emily today, as a father is supposed to. I go deep inside, and I imagine that I am still Fred Astaire or Gene Kelly. But the fantasy is but mine, and mine alone, and God knows without legs. Dancing for me is the stuff of dreams alone. So Terry, his older brothers, Rosie, Maggie, and I concocted a plan. And Emily reluctantly bought into my trust me. Collaborating with Rosie, I wrote some new lyrics to turn a good song into an almost nearly perfect song for this beloved child of mine on this so very special day. One stanza in the revision, in the revised version, reads, "Her heart reminds me of a warm, safe place where any child could hide, and I pray for the thunder and the rain to quietly, peacefully pass them by." But recently the memory of another tune came calling to me, prompting me to look for the lyrics of a 1964 song recorded by Julie Andrews, Sinatra, and Andy Williams, and sung to Emily at her baptism by Maggie's dad, and later by a friend of mine, Leo, in my office on one of my many bring the children to the office and drive 15 innocent people crazy days. The song was simply Emily, and the first verse is, Emily, 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 has the murmuring sound of May, all silver bells, coral shells, carousels, and the laughter of children at play. Different times, different songs, but the same theme, the essence and wonder of you, my beautiful Emily. Yes, I took time to find this mag, so this one is for you, but also for our Emily, and in spirit and solidarity, for our entire It Isn't Cheaper by the Dozen Anymore bunch, and this life uncommon that we've lived. Hope you out there with me today enjoyed this week's change of pace. Only 3 weeks to go, and God help us, a new beginning and the restoration of a tattered and torn democracy. Be the change, please, be the voice. Have a great week. Smile on your brothers and sisters out there, and try to be with me the next time around. Take care, my friends. Bye now.